Wilson Morales, Black Film and TV. At what point did you decide you wanted to direct the next installment?
I think right around the end of 2, it started to kind of creep into my brain a little bit, you know, talk with my collaborators and producers and Erwin and Coog and everybody, and felt like it was the best thing to do.
Did you have any pushback? You had not directed before. This is a franchise, you know, not an independent film. You know, you have to put money into it.
Mm-hmm. No, zero pushback. I think it was just everybody had, I think, more faith in me than I did at the moment. As I was kind of, you know, it becoming real to me. But I thought everybody, I can't speak for them, you know, literally, but I think, you know, everybody was extremely supportive and thought this was the best thing to do.
When it comes to this franchise, everybody knows the players and the story. Mm-hmm. So knowing this is the 3rd one and the 9th one in the franchise, what did you want it to do different?
I wanted to take creative swings on the boxing for sure. You know, we've filmed punches every which way you could think of, you know, over the course of, you know, 8 films and a plethora of other boxing movies that exist in the lexicon of just sports film. So it kind of forced me to think outside the box, you know, and really lean on other references and inspiration from things that I love, you know, from anime, you know, to just, you know, just kung fu films as well, just kind of like really trying to, you know, just figure out what type of visual language I could tell the fights that's parallel and authentic to the story and where the characters were, and I felt like that made sense. And then just, you know, it had to feel big, you know, the film had to. The 3rd film, you know, you couldn't do exactly what was done before, and you you couldn't go too crazy off the rails, you know, as well. So I kind of found my pocket that I wanted to live in, and yeah, told the story.
Your opponent, you have Jonathan Majors, who is currently hot, just as you are, and unlike the last one, people know who he is. Mm-hmm. So we're going in here and goes, we got 2 heavyweights that we know of as actors. What was that experience like, knowing that both of you had to get in shape for these roles?
It's great. You know, I think that was that's one of the things I pitched it, you know, to him, you know, 2.5 years ago, was, you know, hey, let's transform. Let's go out there, and I want it to look like 2 gladiators in the ring. You know, let's go out there and push each other, and yeah, man, this is your movie, man. Let's do it. You know, and I told him that, and I honored that. You know, so me and him became really tight, really fast, and the work speaks for itself, man. I think our chemistry and the way, you know, we pushed each other, you know, inside the ring, you know, in front of the camera and behind the camera, I thought was really special, and look forward to, you know, doing it again. The world's on notice now.
We don't want this to be a one and done. We need you to be like what Ben Affleck did, come back, do another film. Do you have another film in mind that you want to direct?
I don't have a film in mind that I want to direct, but I definitely know I want to get back behind the camera. You know, I'm playing around with a couple of genres that interest me, that I enjoy, and yeah, I just got to take a break, just a little mini, just, you know, step back. You know, this one is, you know, really, I've given it everything I've got, you know, in front of the camera, behind, you know, through and through for the last few years. So just wanting to kind of, you know, take a look at the land a little bit and figure out which way I want to go. But you'll definitely, you know, see me back behind the camera again.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Wilson, man. Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Wilson Morales, Black Film and TV. We've seen the pictures between this and what we saw at Sundance. In terms of getting in shape, what came first, this or Magazine Dreams?
Oh, it was this first.
You know, and so you kept it going on to the next one?
Yeah, this guy is 10 pounds lighter than the other guy.
Uh-huh. And in terms of the boxing technique, you know, what did you do to train? Was it with Michael first, second, or did you have a trainer beforehand as far as learning how to fight?
I trained beforehand. Me and Mike worked just, you know, that was probably the beginning of the second act with me and Mike getting together. But I trained solo, you know, as in with my trainer, just me and this guy named Rob Sally. Incredible guy, trained up Mike for Creed 1 and Creed 2, and we just pushed it. And then the more the character was developed on the script, the more the fighting style was developed, you know.
One thing when you have to read the lines, but when you have to put in the physical performance,
yeah,
that's another level of training.
Yeah.
So when you were asked to be part of this, you know, how much did go into your mind as far as knowing how much you have to get into shape to, you know, be in a boxing ring? Because we've seen the Rocky film, so we want to make sure not only are they in shape, yet can they fight?
Yeah. That's just a job, isn't it? I just was like, okay, it's on. You know, suit the word to the action to the word. It's Hamlet. Yeah, the objective was to, you don't want to get busted. You know what I mean? As you say, it's a Rocky film. People have their expectations. And something I've become quite accustomed to is when they have expectations, if they're, if it's the third entry, you got to come in and really make some noise, and really be additive to the best of your ability. And for me, that was giving them a physique and a character that we hadn't seen in the Rocky verse or the Creed verse.
Mm-hmm. Working with Michael as an actor and also as a director, did you see the difference, and have you worked with actors who have directed you before?
A gentleman named Scott Cooper, who was a proper actor, in film, before he switched over to directing. And that was a film called Hostiles. He had a way of, he could really speak to the actor, and it didn't feel like it was coming from someplace else. And yet there was a distance because he also was, he was doing a lot, right? With Mike, because, and there was a certain focus with Scott. With Mike, I got to watch Mike go, because I could tell if it was a note or we were having a conversation as an actor to actor, or director to actor, or brother to brother. You know what I mean? I could tell what was going on. So that was fascinating, to watch him do that, and his approach. I think we had a strong, unique process because of that, and I watched him get better at it. At some point, it was just we're just in flow. I mean, the last 30 days, we were just in flow. We just knew what was going on. How to push it, how to pull it, all those things.
Before I let you go, obviously you've got Ant-Man out. Magazine Dreams is going to come out later on.
Yeah.
What goes into saying yes to the roles you take?
What goes into saying yes? Level of difficulty. First and foremost, I'm looking for a challenge. Something that's going to help me get better as an actor. And if it helps me get better as an actor, it helps me get better as a human being. And then I look at the complexity of the role, what's on the page. And not necessarily the words on the page, but the world of it, and who will be watching it, and who the character essentially would be a proxy to. And I look for the healing, I look for the hard part, where the hurt is, and see if that's something that I can responsibly, artistically apply my talents to help heal in myself and consequently in the audience.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Wilson Morales, Black Film and TV. Third time's the charm, but this time you're working with a co-worker who not only you're working with, but he directed you. What was that experience like?
It was incredible. I showed up to work every day so proud of him, And also, I think when you have a relationship with someone over such a long time, you come to really, really know them. And it is such a delight to also be surprised by them, or to have the things that you suspected might be true about them be confirmed. And I always thought that he would be an incredible leader, and he is.
Now, it's one thing when he's directing you, but when you've worked with him for now 3 films, did he give you a say, or did you have a say as to how you wanted your character to be played out?
I had a say. I've always had a say with this role, which has been the pleasure. I've always been invited to be a co-author, and the process of developing is always one where I'm speaking to the writers, to the director, and that didn't change on this one at all. The only thing that changed is, and I've been thinking about this today, is Michael is so specific about clothing, and so anything I was wearing had to be, of course, approved by him. And in the past with Bianca, well, of course, because it's the director, so anything that's on screen, they get to be like, maybe not this, maybe not that. And in the past with Bianca, Ryan, and not that they weren't involved, but they weren't as specific. He was very specific. So that was the only time we ever really disagreed. I'd be like, but I like that shoe. And he'd be like, I don't know if I love that shoe. And I'm like, all right, fine. We can do the other shoe.
This time, obviously, your daughter's grown up, but you have to do sign language. Did you know how to do it before that, or did you have to learn it?
I had to learn ASL. Because in the previous films, in the first film, we see Bianca, she's beginning to just dabble in thinking about sign language, but not in earnest. Like, she knows mostly just cuss words in ASL. And then at the end of Creed 2, she discovers that her child is deaf, and so then the years that pass as she's raising Amara, she of course in earnest learns ASL. And so Mike and I were both got the great pleasure of getting to speak more of it and to learn more of it on this film.
Then you have Jonathan come into the fray. You know, before it was just you and Michael and Woody.
Yeah.
Wood, you know, but now Jonathan's coming into the fray. You know, what did you guys do to make him feel comfortable as opposed to being the newcomer in the film?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I think, you know, they spend such a long time in the fight choreography, and it really is a dance, you know. So Mike and Jonathan are really dancing together, and I think they really wanted to show a sort of complicated portrayal of brotherhood, and more specifically Black brotherhood, that's forged in adversity and what that looks like. So they, you know, got so close over that process, and for me, I was sort of like a spectator getting to really watch that. I don't know what we specifically did. I mean, the truth is, I had seen Jonathan. I was on the jury the year that Last Black Man in San Francisco premiered at Sundance, and just thought he was so tremendous in that, and he was such a talent that I really, from afar, was like, that guy's really special and going to do things in the industry. And I think that making films is always such a collaborative team sport, and so it's exciting when someone that you really admire and that you know is a good player joins the team. So I think he was met with a tremendous amount of love and you know, and excitement.
Congrats on bringing Bianca back. Congrats on the film. I'm sure we'll talk down the road.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.